Under paragraph 34 of the Immigration Rules, an application for permission to stay in the UK must be valid. This includes providing a valid proof of identity as described under paragraph 34(5)(b) of the rules. But what if your passport has been retained by the Home Office? Can you still submit your application without your passport? They say to every rule there is an exception. So find out what exceptions apply to the rule and the discretionary powers of the Secretary of State. Ladies and gentlemen, join Patrick Worae of BWF Solicitors and our host Owuraku Owusu Frimpong this Saturday, 11th February 2023 at 4 p.m. on the Community and the Law Show on BWTV and BW Radio as they discuss the topic, can I submit my application without my passport, which has been retained by the Home Office? Call. Join us live on the radio and TV in the discussion on 0044 7399 208 468 or 0044 208 123 1016. WhatsApp 0044 7950 422 780. The Community and the Law, brought to you by BWF Solicitors, your preferred community lawyers.
Yeah, Jesus, you're my everything, yeah. My everything is you, Lord. Yeah, oh, 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 oh. Everybody say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things you've done for me? Words are not enough, to say thank you. So Lord, you are my everything. You're my everything. How can I express my gratitude? How can I express my gratitude for all the many things, Father, you done for me, yeah. Words are not enough to say thank you. So Lord, you are, you're my everything. Say, I call you Jireh, Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi, you are my banner. I call you Rapha, hey, you are my healer. Say, Lord, you are, you're my everything. I call you Jireh, Lord, my provider. I call you Nisi, you are my banner. I call you Rapha, you are my healer. Say, Lord, you are, you're my everything. Who am I thinking now? Who am I thinking?
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to you. It's a lovely Saturday afternoon again, the 11th of February 2023. It's a nice opportunity for us to meet again on the Community on the Law to discuss some of the things pertaining to the legal issues here in the UK. My name is Owuraku Owusu Frimpong, and today, in collaboration and in conjunction with BWF Solicitors, we're bringing you another topic. And the question I'm asking is, can I submit my application without my passport, which has been retained by the Home Office?
Lawyer Patrick Worae will be here to help us unravel this. We'll unpick all the issues and also pick up your questions and your concerns. You are welcome, and I want to say that we're live on BWTV, BW Radio, BWF Solicitors Facebook, BWF Solicitors YouTube, and all the other social media platforms. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of The Community and the Law. A few minutes into the 16th hour of the day. Hello, lovely people, wonderful guests for my show. I am here in person to say thank you very much for being here. It's live on BWTV, live on BW Radio, live on BWF Solicitors platform. And today we are back with another very interesting discussion. And the question I am going to pose is one that you probably have faced with before. Can you submit your application without your passport if that particular passport has been retained by the Home Office? You might have sent in your passport to the Home Office for your application to be considered and granted, but the passport has not been returned, and you want to do another thing with the Home Office or do an application with that, and your passport is not in there. What do you do? Is it the end of the world? I am going to ask the question, can I send in an application when my passport is not ready? Would they really consider that and the rest of it? Lawyer Patrick Worae, as I said, will be in to answer that question for us and will tell us how we go about that. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you very much to BWF Solicitors for being there for us all the time. BWF Solicitors are trusted legal partners when it comes to the law. In the community, they are so readily available. They are at 214-218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, North London. Now, when you go by a public transport, the train, the easiest I do, you get on the Victoria line and get off at Seven Sisters. And out of the train, you use exit number 2. It takes you to the very frontage of Anna House. BWF Solicitors is on the 4th floor. If you're driving and you want to use a postcode, it's N15 4NP, N15 4NP. BWF Solicitors works Monday to Friday between 9:30 in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening when it comes to family law, when it comes to all the bits of your marriage, divorce, arrangements that you can make to make sure that everything falls in line with the law. And then again, you would want to have an interpretation of some of the regulations and the laws that are put in place here in the UK. BWF Solicitors does that very well. I would say, and I can dare say, better than any other legal organization here in the UK. Then again, if it is that you want to understand Ghana law and you want to engage in the property business, you would want to have advice from BWF Solicitors. Now, let's say thank you to them. When they come back, they have other things they have put out in the social media world that will get us learning and equipping ourselves. So we'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Okay, well, we're back and we're getting on to our discussion. But before then, I have a few bits that I would want to share with you. Now, the first one is the nugget that BWF Solicitors puts out every Monday. So if you watch the media space, you realize that every Monday between 10 and noon, we threw that in there. And it's something BWF Solicitors wants you to really learn and cope with. Now, today we're looking at migrants and VAT rules for services that are complex areas of law. The usual place of residence of a private individual is not defined in the law. HM Revenue and Customs interprets the phase as the country where the individual spends most of their time for the periods in question. It's likely to be the country where the individual has set up their home, lives with their family, and in full-time employment. For VAT purposes, persons who have not been granted the right or permission to remain in the UK should be treated as belonging to their country of origin. This will apply to, for example, asylum seekers and those entering without permission, and therefore may not pay VAT on services such as solicitors or accountant services. Now, this was quoted from Razak and Mishari, a London case versus the authorities that and it's on the VAT notices, and that notice number is on the VAT POSS 04600. So that's by way of that. I'll be doing a few other announcements and I'll come to Lawyer Patrick Worae to help us unravel this. And maybe I will quickly read that again. And it says, migrants and the VAT rules for services are complex areas of law. The usual place of residence of a private individual is not defined in the law. HM Revenue and Customs interprets the phrase as the country where the individual spends most of their time for the periods in question. It is likely to be the country where the individual has set up their home, where the individual with their family and is in full-time employment. For VAT purposes, persons who have not been granted the right or permission to remain in the UK should be treated as belonging to their country of origin. This will apply to, for example, asylum seekers and those entering without permission, and therefore may not pay VAT on services such as solicitors or accountants services. Well, I know when we talk about solicitors and accountant services, obviously we're referring to if you are in that category and you visit BWF, for instance, are you to pay VAT on the services they provide for you? Well, that's one thing Lawyer Patrick will tell us when we come to that discussion. Now, let's move on to some acknowledgements we have in here. There's a beautiful lady that works at BWF Solicitors, and Jemima Akofa Kawuda Day. Jemima is the personal assistant to the senior partner, BWF Solicitors, and Jemima is our Employee of the Month 2023. Congratulations to you, Jemima, for being there. The smile alone tells us the kind of service you provide, and we want to say congratulations to you. Thank you so very much, and keep it going. And I know at the end of the year 2023, maybe customers, clients and our viewers would maybe vote you again. So congratulations, Jemima, for being the Employee of the Month 2023. We're moving on, and very soon we will be having the discussion on the nugget. And maybe for emphasis, I am quite interested in this. For emphasis, I would want to pick that one again and have a read of it again. Migrants and VAT rules for services are complex areas of law. The usual place of residence of a private individual is not defined in the law. What is the law? What does it say? Now, let's look at what the people or the organization that collects revenue for the United Kingdom, for the King Charles III, who do that, and what do they say? How do they interpret that bit of the law that we are talking about? HM Revenue and Custom interprets the phrase as the country where the individual spends most of their time for the periods in question. It's likely to be the country where the individual has set up their home, where the individual lives with their family and is in full-time employment. For VAT purposes, persons who have not been granted the right or permission to remain in the UK should be treated as belonging to their country of origin. This will apply to, for example, asylum seekers and those entering without permission and therefore may not pay VAT on services such as solicitors or accountant services. Ladies and gentlemen, well, let me again invite people who are on the platform. I would want to say that if you come on, just let me know that you are here. Ezekiel Johnson, yes, you say we are here. How many of you? Yes, I know definitely others are there as well. Good afternoon, Sandra Fraser. Good afternoon, Says. You say. Ademununkum, good afternoon, lovely people. Thank you, Ade. I know you're doing so very well. Sandra Fraser has done her thing again. She's been very great. Put the details all on there for us. Tilly Duma, hello, lovely family. Thank you, Tilly. Tilly says, Nana Jumai, senior minister, Bratna class is going on. So come on, Nana Jumai. Then we'll move on to Ezekiel is put on another one. Move on, Tilly, and Ezekiel inviting so many people to come on. Ezekiel Johnson, welcome on board, darling boy. Yes, Ezekiel Olupa, thank you. Congratulations to Jemima. Yes, Jemima is the Employee of the Month, January 2023. Please kindly share and comment, and that is what I would want everybody to do. When you get on the page, go to the comment section and announce yourself, then also like the page and pick it up and share. Let's have as many shares as possible so the algorithm will look so pretty well and wonderful. Ofayao, you are on board. Thank you very much. God bless you. Kobia watching from Edinburgh. Yes, thank you. Then we have Temwani T listening in. Temwani, where are you listening in from? If you could let us know, I would be very grateful. Ejiwa Nanajima Tilly, you're telling Tilly you are late. Yes, she's doing a role in the class. That's so very well. Thank you. Ejiwa Nanajima, good evening, everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me now. Chumesi Ankara, yes, good evening to you as well. Let me go to my left hand side to your right, and on our main page, we bring in my long lost friend who has been found. Lawyer Patrick is here. Ladies and gentlemen, Lawyer Patrick, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Where have you been?
Well, as you can appreciate, life is not just, in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever it throws you, that's where you go.
You go.
Unfortunately, you don't control that. As you can appreciate.
So now I'm very fortunate that life has blown you my way today.
Well, you can say that. You can say that. So yes, fortunate enough to have been blown here as well myself, because obviously it's been a very long time since we've met on the show, and it's another privilege to come on here to have a discussion with yourself and the community at large. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for coming, and I know the community is also appreciative of the fact that you have time for us, irrespective of all the tight schedules you have. You've made time to come with us. Now, we are looking at, well, I'll go to the main question, but let's talk about VAT that your very august organization put out in the media domain, that is about VAT, value added tax. And the import is that certain people may not be obliged to pay VAT. Would you be kind to take us through that and why that?
Right. Okay. So just like you've just summed it up, that's exactly what it is. If you live in a certain geographical location and for want of maybe a better word, a legal jurisdiction, then you would be required, if you like, to follow what the law says in that, jurisdiction.
Okay.
And that includes, for VAT purposes, who is liable to pay VAT and who is not. And that can be related to tax as well. We do know that VAT is some kind of a tax, but with what I've just said, when I say tax, making reference to your income tax. And so for our migration purposes, if you are somebody who is resident here, you've made the UK your home, and so all your life is in the UK. Your home, your family, and everybody else that is in your life is in the UK, and so effectively you have a connection here to the UK rather than somewhere else. Then you would be expected, if you lived here legally or illegally, to pay your taxes in this country, including your VAT. And so if you sought for the services of a service provider, and that service comes with a VAT, then you'll be required to pay that. It's not always the case that the customer pays the VAT. There are instances where the business would have to pay the VAT. And when it comes to VAT, it is not always linked with just the human being, because businesses in the UK do pay taxes as well, especially if you're a business earning turnover of around £85,000 and above, then you'll be required to pay VAT to HMRC. And so if you sought the services of, let's say, a legal firm, with the example that we've just given there, and you're a person who is living here with some sort of leave, if you went ahead to go and renew that leave, then you'll be required to pay VAT on that. And the reason being that you're here with some sort of legal position. And so the expectation that you pay VAT on the service that is being provided. And at that instant, it is you that is paying the VAT. You're not paying it to the company as such. So if you bring it home to what we do as a firm, say for instance, someone came to you and wanted to renew their 2.5 years to leave to remain, and say the cost was going to be, let's say, 2,500, and then there's an additional VAT on top of that 2,500. Sometimes somebody may wonder why I should be paying VAT on top of your charge, but that is not the firm's arrangement. This is the arrangement of HMRC.
Whoever charges VAT is essentially collecting the tax on behalf of government.
Absolutely.
It doesn't go into your revenue.
Not at all. Not at all. So you're collecting that tax on behalf of the government and the HMRC. And so for the other tax that I mentioned, for that purposes, we normally would have people who are domiciled here, and so they are people, because they are resident here, they pay tax. Now, some countries, irrespective of whether you're living there or not, you would still be charged tax, or you would still be required to pay taxes to them. And how that is done is because you're a citizen of that country, you're required to pay tax to them. And because you live in another country, you make that country your home, that jurisdiction also charges you tax. Okay. The countries like, for instance, the United States, where if you're a citizen, then you're required to pay tax. And so if you're living in the UK and you are a US citizen, you may find that there'll be a situation where there'll be a double taxation, if you like, where you're paying tax because you are domiciled here, and you're paying tax to the state because you're a citizen of that country. And the EU came up with something where European countries and other people that have signed to that would be able to share tax information. And it was the OECD who was championing that. So, yes, they share tax information so that people who are domiciled here but are citizens of other countries where they are supposed to pay tax and are not paying those taxes. Information can be shared with these countries to alert them that yes, your citizens are living in our country and working and earning such and such amount of money, and so you can pay them up for their tax. Now, the banks were roped into that as well. So then, if you're saving in a bank, because these banks have signed up to the OECD's agreement and to share information across, that global union, they'll be able to provide that information to your government to come and chase you for the tax that is due them. So yes.
Yeah. So let me find out if, for instance, I am not domiciled in the UK and I go to an organization that provides me a service and they charge me VAT, whether erroneously or knowingly. Am I entitled to make a claim because I am domiciled in the jurisdiction so I can claim my money back?
Of course, indeed. I mean, the starting point really is the company that is providing the service. It's not always the case that they know, if you probably not mentioned, that you're a person who is not domiciled in that country. So they may mistakenly charge you the VAT, but then there are avenues for you to be able to claim that back. So say, for instance, if you came to us, we'll be able to determine from your situation whether or not we have to charge you VAT on the service that we provide you.
Yeah.
But that is because of what we do and what we know. Not everybody else knows that. So, for instance, if you went to one of the high street shops to go and purchase something from there, you'd normally will find out that the receipt that they gave you will normally come with a VAT element on there. It is not because they're charging you wrongly, but it's because that's how the system is being set up. So therefore, if you feel that you're not somebody who is domiciled here, you're just passing through, normally going to do your shopping, and you're out of the country, and so you're not liable to pay VAT here, then of course you can take steps to make a claim back on that. Yes.
Is that what people do when they probably flying out at the airport? They go and claim their VAT.
Absolutely.
So in the situation where you go for a service or buy from any high street shop, and you are not entitled to pay VAT, you can claim on your way out.
Of course.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the bit that was in there. It's a bit technical, but it favors people who really are not one, in the known, and two, who are not supposed to be paying that. You can claim back when you are leaving the country. At the port of exit, you definitely can present your receipt and it will be granted you. Well, that brings us to the point where I would want us to delve into our topic for the day. There are technicalities in immigration and legal issues, and that's the reason why we have this wonderful program that brings you every opportunity to understand the situation as they are. And one thing that really bothers people is when you send in your documents and all the requirements to the Home Office for renewing your visas, your stay, and the rest of it. They ask you to bring every document that they have requested for. But it may come to a point in time where one or two of those items may not be with you. It may have gone to the Home Office and it's still sitting with them. These days, the situation where there is always delay in making decisions and deciding on applications. My passport is with the Home Office. Can I submit an application without my passport, which has been detained by the Home Office? It's a very straight and direct question, but it is so embodied with technicalities. So let me go back to the legal desk and ask my big brother, can I do that? Can I submit an application without my passport, which has been detained by the Home Office?
Well, the simple answer to that question is yes. Absolutely, you can. And so that basically, if you like, calm nerves down for people who are listening to us and may have that in the back of their minds, which has been frustrating them or probably concerning them. That yes, probably something happened and then my passport got retained. Now I want to maybe apply for leave to remain. Without my passport, how am I able to do that? And we will look into what the law actually says. But before we get to that, we need to understand the basis on which your passport or your ID document or any documents at all that you've sent to the Home Office may be retained. So, first of all, we need to understand that once you've obtained a visa from outside the UK to come to the country, that is not the end of the story. Okay. So obtaining the visa is one thing. Getting entry into the UK is another hurdle to cross. Now, the reason I say that is that the rules gives powers to the agents at the border to be able to re-examine you if they choose to when you get to the port. So under the under paragraph 2A, schedule 2 of the 1971 Immigration Act, the border agents have power and authority to examine you, and if they have any reason to suspect anything, they would suspend your leave until such investigation as concluded. And so therefore, you can appreciate that if they suspect that you did not obtain the visa through a genuine way, then that visa is likely to be revoked. And so once they've revoked your visa, you'd be assured that you're not getting your passport back. So that is one way of retaining your passport. The other way your passport or your ID documents may be retained is also found in the law under our Section 17 Asylum and Immigration Claimants Act 2004. It gives power to the Secretary of State and the caseworker to retain your passport if indeed they feel you're a person who is liable to removal from the country, or that passport would facilitate your removal in the end. And so if you made an application to the Home Office, for instance, you said you've lived here for 20 years, we know that to be able to qualify for the 20 years unlawful residence rule, you should have lived here 20 years on the date that you made the application. So therefore, if there's only a month to that date and you make your application, you wouldn't meet the requirement. And so it is likely, or your passport may be retained if you make that application and you are not qualified.
So if they retain the passport, does it give you an indication that you are likely to be sent out of the country? Well, for better expression, but maybe technically right, to be deported? They retain that so you don't make any other application prior to that, or there could be another reason.
Well, yes. So if they've retained your passport or your ID documents for whatever reason, yes, the refusal notice that you would get would basically outline why, first of all, your application has been refused and the next steps, i.e. whether or not you are able to appeal against that decision or you are able to bring administrative review against that decision. And if not, then the next step, i.e. you do not have the right to remain in the country, and so you are a person who is liable to be removed or deported. And so if you feel that you have any other reason to remain here in the UK, then you have to submit another application. It is not to say that they would send you back your passport to do that. That's not going to happen. So don't expect that to happen. Once your passport is retained, the only time that you're able to get your passport back is, say, for instance, you're somebody who is liable to be removed and you have voluntarily decided you're going to leave the country by yourself. Even at that stage, you still don't get your passport back. At best, what you would get is that they would take your passport to the port where you'd be flying from. And that's where they
hand it over to
and
you
hand
at
it
that
over
point.
right on the plane.
So they make sure you don't come back.
Absolutely. So indeed, you're not going to say, well, I've voluntarily decided I'm going to leave the country, so please give me back my passport. Yes, you may bring up issues to do with, well, it is not your property, it's the property of Ghana, and it's my document and all of that. But that wouldn't wash. That would not wash, because that is the document that basically assist them to take you to a particular country. And so therefore, if they relinquish that to you, and indeed they want to come and pick you up the next day, and you pulled up a Jamaican or a US state passport, then how are they going to be able to send you to a different country? So
So
that
why
reason,
don't
bring
they?
that.
You just mentioned that
Yeah.
the passport is the property of any particular state.
Yeah.
And they have representation in the country here, embassies and high commissions. Why, when they retain your passport, why don't they send them to who owns the passport? So if you need it, you can go to them rather than they keeping them in their custody.
Well, that's a very good question. But as you can appreciate, your embassy has not submitted any application to the Home Office.
No.
It is you, the person, that has submitted the application. So even though, yes, indeed, the passport is the property of Ghana, yes, you also have some sort of property claim to it, because, first of all, you paid for that passport to be issued to you. So you have some sort of claim to it as well. And, in the tussle between the two of you, we would see who probably got the strong claim to it. So if you're the owner of it, then we may say you probably have the more stronger claim to the passport for yourself, because you have got your details and everything on there. So we need to make sure that it's going to the right person. And so they wouldn't send it to your commission or, if you like, your embassy here in the UK. They will retain it. But that retention is not indefinite.
Okay.
It's not indefinite in that if your passport has been retained and you subsequently is granted leave or visa in any form, shape in the UK, then after that, your passport will be returned. So that's only that time you get your passport back. Having said that, you are also able to request for a certified copy of that passport which has been retained. Bear in mind, there are times when passport has been retained and it's been expired for many, many, many years, but then they still have it. They keep those documents safely, and so it's always going to be there. And so if you need a copy of that, yes, you would be able to request for a certified copy of that passport, and that may help you submit another application to, let's say, the Ghana Commission for a renewal of your passport. So you are able to do that. But what you wouldn't be able to get is the physical passport back.
So in a situation where I know that my passport expires in 3 months,
Yeah.
the Home Office has detained, and having known the date, I request for a certified true copy of that so I can submit it to my mission, my country's high commission or wherever, to get it renewed. When they give me that certified copy and I send it for renewal, then I've got a new passport. What is with them is irrelevant.
Well, yes, that's absolutely brilliant, because yes, indeed, if you requested for the certified copy, that allows you to obtain a new passport. And, once you've obtained that, you can do whatever with that passport, whether or not you're staying or you're traveling outside of the country or not. It's, exactly like you say it, you've got a new passport back, and they can keep that old passport for whatever
they want to use it
So
for. Yeah.
that's the case. But, I suppose you have to go by what is being given to them because they've got a remit within which they're working. And therefore, the position is that, yes, you are not allowed to give the passport or the document back, but then you are allowed to give them a certified copy of it so that they can do whatever they want to do with it.
Before I go on to my next question,
Yeah.
I have one on the platform from Ademo Nyonkom, and he's asking that if we could use a certified copy of the passport to travel.
No, you can't, because obviously that certified copy is not the actual passport. Yes, you may be able to use it for other things, including maybe proving your identity with maybe a bank or some other institutions. But as you can appreciate, because it's not the physical passport, not many of these institutions would even accept that. So that's the difficulty you would have. And so, yes, I wouldn't say that you'd be able to travel with that. Now, we come back to your question whether or not you'll be able to make an application if, say, for instance, your ID document is being retained by the Home Office. And then I said the straight answer to that question is yes, you can do. But then let's break it down to see what the requirements are in making an application. So the requirement is that under paragraph 34, if you're submitting a permission application to stay in the UK, that application must be valid. And how do we determine that this application is valid? Now, that is all in the law as well. So, for an application to be valid, that application should have been made on a specified application form, which is on the government website or online. So that application should be the one that relates to your particular case. So, for instance, if you're a person who is applying for leave to remain as a parent and you completed form FLRM, which is a specific application form for people who are applying as spouses based on their marriage, you would appreciate that is not the type of application that would be right for you as somebody who is applying for leave to remain as a parent. And so therefore, if you submitted that type of application, your application would be invalid from start anyway. Again, the other thing you need to know is that when you submit the right application, you're also required to pay the right fees as well.
Right.
So if you don't pay the correct fees, that basically goes with your type of application. Again, your application becomes invalid. The other thing is that you also need to enroll your biometric fingerprints. That forms part of the application process. And so therefore, if you submit your application and you are requested to go and then provide your fingerprints and you don't do that, your application becomes invalid. And because it is invalid, it is not going to be considered. So your application will be sitting there until such time when you've taken the steps to validate it. Now, how do you validate it? Where the application is invalid, the Secretary of State and the caseworkers have discretion, and they would be able to send you a written notice to point out to you the errors or omissions that needs to be corrected.
But should they or they may?
Well, so it is not always the case that they would do that, But yes, they have the power to do that.
Okay.
And yes, majority of the cases that we've seen, they normally would send you a written notice to say, yes, you need to correct this, or you need to make this available, or you need to pay this extra fee for your case to become valid. They do that. So I think, yes, with that, they're very lenient and very, very reasonable. And you would expect that, yes, if it is the fee that is not up to the level that you should have paid, they will always come back and ask you for a top-up. Or if it is that you haven't enrolled your biometric fingerprints, again, they come back to you to say, yes, you need to do this. However, there's a limited time that you're given to correct this.
Okay.
And so you get given 10 days to do that. If you don't do what you're asked to do within the time frame that has been given to you, then what you stand risk is a chance of your application being rejected as invalid. And that's got serious implication.
Right.
It may be good for you, it may also be bad for you. And the reason I say that is that the good side is that if your application is rejected as invalid, now you don't lose the fee that you've paid. So, typical example, if you're applying for limited leave to remain as a parent, it will cost you about £2,408 in total to be able to do that. And so that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so if your application, was rejected for it being invalid, you would expect to get that fees back with a £25 administrative charge taken off that. So that's happy day. You don't lose your money. And if, say, for instance, you didn't have leave and you were just applying for your first leave, then you have the opportunity to get it right and submit your application again. Where it is dangerous is where you have leave which is extant, and you've submitted the application to renew that, and that leave is subsequently expired whilst they're considering your application. That becomes dangerous, because if your leave is expired and then at the point where they're considering your application, it comes to their attention that you've made an invalid application, and therefore they write to you to correct that mistake, and you don't do that. Bear in mind, your leave, which was extant, is now expired, and it was extant in the first place because you made an in-time application, and so therefore you get the protection under Section 3C, which basically allows your leave to continue until such time when they've decided your case. You will lose that if you don't take steps to provide the information that you have been requested to provide. And so therefore, if your leave expires, you become an overstayer. And therefore, the continuity of your residence is also broken. Now, within the law, my apologies, sorry. I'm sorry.
There's something that's really in the line of my question is bothering my mind. They have retained your passport, and you're putting in a new application. When they send you a notification that they've retained your passport, would there be any reference that you can make on your new application so they know that this passport belongs to Kwesi?
Okay, so that brings us back to that question you initially asked, which I haven't answered as yet because I wanted us to break it down. But yes, under paragraph 34.5c, if you submit an application and your passport or ID document has been retained by the Home Office, the instruction to caseworkers is that they must not reject your application as invalid.
Okay.
So therefore, if you have documents with them already, then the position is that, there's no way you are able to provide that document to them because indeed they have the document with them. So you will not be able to provide that. And that is why the modern general caseworker guidance is that they must not reject that application. So when you are submitting your application, there will be a section where they will ask you whether or not you have a valid passport. If you said yes, you'll be required to input that biodata information in the application. Now, obviously, you don't have the physical passport with you.
Yeah.
And so when you put in that information, you would have opportunity to say in there whether or not that passport has been retained and where that passport is. If it has been retained by the Home Office, yes, you can say in there that that passport has been retained with them.
And the onus is on them to go and look for it.
Exactly. So, yes, once you submitted that application, you've made that statement in there that it's been retained, they've got it, yes, they will make their checks and they will find out that it's with them and they'll be able to go back and assess that from wherever the storage is.
Sorry for pulling away from your trajectory. What if it's missing? It's lost with them.
Okay, so if it is lost with them, then it was lost in their hands, not your hands. As far as you're concerned, you got to the port, you were re-examined, and your passport was detained. Of course, if they detain you at the port and revoke your visa and retain your passport. They will give you a document which basically allows you to maybe come into the country once you've made what we call a Section 120 claim. So that allows you to be granted bail. And in that bail, you would have conditions that you need to satisfy. Yes, you could use that document to evidence the fact that, yes, indeed, when you got to the port, your passport was retained because your visa was revoked. The reason why your passport or your visa is being revoked would be stated in that document that they give you. And so there's no way they're going to say, well, we've lost your passport, so you cannot make the application. Yes, you're saying, yes, you have my passport, and that's the end of the story. They have it. And so if they've lost it, then yes, you can still make your application because they've got it. If they come back to say they've lost it, you need to go and get another one, then by all means, yes, you're able to do that. You're able to use that notice that says that they've lost it to get one from the High Commission. If you ask me whether or not they will pay for that passport,
Well, that was my next naive. That was next naive
I'm going to
question
disappoint
to
you.
ask.
I'm going to disappoint you.
You have to pay for it. Okay.
So, well, I mean, it's something that you can pursue, and you may be able to get a resolution with that. Indeed, it's your document, it's your passport. You pay for it. They've retained it. If they lost it, then yes, why not? They should pay you for it. But, you know, are you going to be going chasing maybe £150 for a passport when you have maybe better things to do? Maybe not. But as a matter of principle, from where I'm sat, maybe I'll go and challenge them and ask for the money to go and get another one.
They
Simple
lost
as
my
that.
passport, so they should pay for it.
Yeah, so yes,
Anyway,
yes.
well, viewers and listeners, if you just joined us, we are on the discussion whether or not you'll be able to submit an application to the Home Office when they have retained your passport. Now, the straightforward answer that lawyer Patrick Worae from BWF Solicitors, it's that yes, you can. How do you do that? How do you go about that? What are actually the conditions on which they retain your passport and the rest of it? That he's been elaborating that so graciously for us, and I believe that you learn so much from the discussion. So get your comments on the platform, and we'll be picking them. If you have a question, whether or not on the topic or on any other issue, immigration, legal issue, wherever it says, just let it be known on the platform. We'll get up and also get him to answer. We come in your way by courtesy of BWF Solicitors, our trusted legal partners when it comes to the law. BWF Solicitors is located at 214-218 Tottenham High Road, Seven Sisters, North London, and 154NP. They work from Monday to Friday between 9:30 in the morning and 6 p.m. in the evening. Talk to them, go to them, trust them to deliver excellent legal services because they know the law. The senior partner has over 30 years of practice experience, and the very wonderful gentleman and lady in there will give you every bit of service that will get your case succeed. I'm asking my able friend and brother to have a little rest for a minute and a moment, and when we come back, we will be looking at the final bit of what to do, how to do it, and then we'll pick your questions and comments. We'll be right back.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws.
Under paragraph 34 of the immigration rules, an application for permission to stay in the UK must be valid. This includes providing a valid proof of identity as described under paragraph 34(5)(b) of the rules. But what if your passport has been retained by the Home Office? Can you still submit your application without your passport? They say to every rule there is an exception. So find out what exceptions apply to the rule and the discretionary powers of the Secretary of State. Ladies and gentlemen, join Patrick Worae of BWF Solicitors and our host Owuraku Owusu Frimpong this Saturday, 11th February 2023 at 4 p.m. on the Community and the Law Show on BWTV and BW Radio as they discuss the topic, can I submit my application without my passport, which has been retained by the Home Office? Call Join us live on the radio and TV in the discussion on 0044 73 99 208 468 or 0044 208 123 1016. WhatsApp 0044 7950 422 780. The community and the law. Brought to you by BWF Solicitors, your preferred community lawyers.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Under paragraph 34.
Well, thank you very much for your time and thank you for sticking around. I see and I read your comments. I've seen so many people joining as new ones, old ones. Yes, I wish I could read out all the names, but let's see how it goes. We continue with the discussion, and Lawyer Patrick Worae is my resource person today, coming from BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors are trusted legal partners, and we're discussing what it is that you can do. And it is, yes, you can submit your application without your passport, which has been retained by the Home Office. Lawyer has told us what to do, how to do it, but I'm going to ask, they have retained my passport. Does it put me under any category of being exempt from producing an ID in any form? Are people exempt from producing IDs when it comes to applications with the Home Office?
Yes, some people are exempted from the strict rules of providing or making a valid application, as we've discussed. So people like asylum seekers and people like those who have been detained, persons who have been detained, and appellants are three examples of people who can be excused or exempt from meeting the validity requirement that we've just discussed. So if you take, for instance, an asylum seeker, somebody who is probably under threat and running away for the fear of their life, then you can appreciate that passport is the last thing that is going to be on this person's mind. There is always the case that people who are running away from some sort of oppression would normally run off without any ID document. So when they get to the port, they wouldn't have an ID document as such, and they'll be able to claim an asylum at the port without their ID document. So therefore, when they are submitting an application for the right to remain here on the basis of maybe family life or private life grounds, then they'll be exempted from meeting that validity requirements that we've just discussed. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so now I will invite you to come in with your questions, your concerns. Laura is ready. On the topic that we have tweeted this afternoon, you can. And if it bothers on any aspect of the law, you can also bring that one up. The numbers we use are, as we're going to put on the screen in a moment, 0739920848, or you can call 0208-123-1016. Send your voice note and your text and WhatsApp messages to our text number 079 50422-780 So when you do that, we will pick the one up and I get lawyer to help you provide an answer. I'm going to first of all pick up this audio note that's come through, and I'm going to play that. So, lawyer, I think we'll start with a voice note from one of our abled friends on the line.
Lawyer Mpaucho, good morning. Me Paucho, me question kakra me pesa me busa. Na me ni obi bema enewa yawari for 3 years me. Na oye uni. I said we know March 2019. Any kwatena boom, but yawari no October 2019. Nti na me pesa me hu say ye bet me. They say nima enkoye nti e person ka ye file for divorce no nti person ka me hu process no ena afi nso no me person me hu say after 5 years no met me apply for indefinite ena bamcho nka ubema me hu so fees no from process no charges na mo beje so madam say.
Right. Okay. So, well, I don't know whether we're answering this in English or we're doing.
Well, either way, it's fine. Okay. For the benefit of the person who's asked the question in Kwani language.
Okay. And yeah, that you about say, application as a family member of an EU national. First of all, the abide amount a 5 years limited leave to remain. So uye no krom ha. And say uye sa application also enye da ye de leave no ana waseta ma no enye sa da no na ye kan waseta ne free. Ye kan waseta ne free eda mo ware ye no, because EU mra no se ne ahye no aye se eyade a eye wodia nti kan pepe mu a onkosre ne the amount because eye wodia dada. Nenso sebe ya wiase mu asetena obeko bank ebeka se fa ID bra ukopage me ebeka se fa share code bra nti no ese se enya bibia ebeboa ye wota ekwan no so enu nti na ema wokoye application se ye mawo sa asetena even though asetena no wo dada nti waware EU you know eda na wo de ware no sa da no ena wasetena no ehya ase so omo mawo sa card na omo de be mawo na tese omaji atum pefe akosi ase se ampase uye EU ni ebusuani a waware no nkekawa bia eni nti omaji watum sa kwan no ansana ubetumi ejai sa nipa krono na watumi ejina ona so brane no esese woni sa nipa krono maware for mfie miensa
for 3 years.
Maware 3 years saa mfie miɛnsa no matena ekurum ha bom afe baako nti mwetimi akyerɛ saa sɛ maware na di mfie miɛnsa matena bom mfie baako betimi akyerɛ saa sɛ wobetimi akyerɛ saa de a ɛne na ntawantawa aba na ɛno nti no wopɛ sɛ wogyae saa awareɛ na wobetimi agyae sɛ wogyae a ɛnsɛ wo hwee ɛsiane sɛ wogyae a mmara no ma ho kwan ma wotumi retain wo right deɛ yɛ ka no sɛ retention of right nti no sɛ saa 3 years ne twam na wo ne gyae a yes wobetumi ayɛ application foforɔ after sɛ wanya wo divorce no na yama wo another 5 years na emom no saa 5 years no ɛnyɛ sɛ wo twɛn asa di saa 5 years ne nyinaa ansa na wayɛ wo indefinite tie na kyɛ no nso sɛ
wobɛtumi de 5 na new one no be able so old one now
saa pɛpɛɛpɛ
okay
kyɛ no nso sɛ wadi 3 years dada ma ware na di 3 years onu na gyae 3 years n'akyi onu gyae 3 years n'akyi no wanya deɛ friend of decree absolute and as a certificate of divorce nti wonya no no wie a na wo pɛ sɛ woyɛ application no foforɔ gyina waa wo a wobɛtumi ayɛ sɛ woyɛ a because sɛ ontena mu for 5 years no yɛ ma wo indefinite no ɔmbɛsa ma wo 5 years na emom 2 years pɛ ɛna wo ɛde aka 3 years na wɔtwa no ama na yɛ 5 years
okay
sɛ yɛ 5 years a wobɛtumi apply for
so in effect no say we retain your rights and you don't lose what you spent on
no you don't lose that
okay
you know once we try 2 years ɛde aka wo na when you indefinite
okay 0739920848
hello
yes good afternoon
fine afternoon black you
good
Professor, a lawyer, mammy, and what a year. Now, the last year, and I'm a papa, then a member 2 by under 21. In Romania, then indefinite. Last year, no, where June. Then a person sense time then I will not qualify for a British citizen.
Almost indefinite last year. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And time being because a British citizen.
Yes, because that's our number wife. Yeah, has saying it. The Colanda Payane, Yapayane, your mom in this way. June, last June, and
last year, June. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's what that lawyer answer.
Okay. Tim Pacho, wow, can say, oh, British passport now.
Hello.
Hello.
But what's a lawyer? So I said, what's what can say, oh, British passport now?
Yeah. Yeah, but may I apply my wife for now? Usually then
okay, so this is what I say. Now, say only wife, say money citizenship na mo pese mo yes citizenship na mo betimi de enkwala na ka ho na Secretary of State, I consider application alongside Momo Dieno. Because Nansia no Mobano, Omontina have for 3 years, a discretionary. However, se Momo Yemo Diena, a bois.
Yeah.
Senyas Asusuna opese Yema Omo again, a discretionary. Intinenya dia, Omu Sinipi, I can say, ya Momo. Inti, as I said, Sana, Odi Show trim. Say adia me kwa kuyi eyesre na me kwa pacho se yenya ma wo nkwala mu no mo bae encheye omu ni 3 years kra o se afina emso bae 1 year na say June no bae yeah the reason why your ma mo indefinite no eye niam mienu because omo stepmother na ono ati krom ha no ya ma no indefinite dada. And the other thing, so because omo ye nkwala omoye under 21. It is a whole year application now. Ubisa home office say, dear omo de ama omo maame no dada no, and our family member no dada no, enua bina yemfama ala no. It is omo under 21. Na omo the parent and as a family member now EU or indefinite dia and now so the mom indefinite. The sana nchichimunotia.
Okay. Sebi I said me a citizen na sebi I said me a prior ono metri nkwalano e de aka ho ana.
Yes, ubetimi the oma kan tell them can't kind. But bear in mind say because a month and a half for a long period of time, a discretionary basis and they consider and yeah, dear, now for 3 years period now, as I say, na your mom. However, free and a buy into now do more kahua patch say yes, move into and Kababu say bia nanka edimu amamo na makwantu ho atimi ahenham bas ni nyina ya de a wo kopa che se yendom na yen
Okay me da wasi pa wa tam dra mabaya wa mana mo ya mami nti tam sa mabaya
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's it. You can also call in and whatever language you're comfortable with, just go ahead with your question and your concern, and we'll pick that one up. Let's see what this one says. Just something on our platform. Please, how many weeks does it take for you to get notification about family visa? This is phrase Kate asking, how many weeks does it take for you to get notification, to get notified? I think that's what you mean about your family visa.
Right. So we're not sure what where the application was made from, but we take the two of them and deal with them. Now, if you submit an in-country application,
okay,
you get the notification there and then because they take your IHS payment and they take your visa fee. And so once that is gone through, that's your application submitted. Now, once you've done that, you'll be required to go and provide your biometric fingerprint. Once you've done the biometric fingerprints, the consideration process begins. And so you'll be waiting. Do not expect the Home Office to write to you to say we have received your application. That was back in the day. It's not done like that anymore because you get instant confirmation of your application having been submitted. And so you would not get another notification. The notification is what you had when you submitted your application online, got a receipt for the payments that you've made, and then you would have another email saying your application has been submitted. You go do your fingerprint. And then it's a waiting game. If you applied on a standard basis, you're looking at waiting for 11 months onwards to get a decision. If you did a priority service, then you're looking to get a decision after your fingerprints within 24 hours. And that costs you extra extra £800 on top of the actual fee, which is £2,408. So you're looking about 3,000. Yes, 3,608 thereabout. So that's what you should do. Now, if you made an out-country application, again, the position is the same. So first of all, you've submitted the application, you've made your payment, you get that notification that yes, your application has been submitted. Now, when you go to do your fingerprints at the center, wherever you are, then they will transfer your visa application to the decision-making center. Once the decision-making center receives, they will send you a notification that your application has been received at the decision center. That is where the decision takes place. And so, therefore, that gives you the notification that your application is being considered. And that's how it works.
All right. 073-992-08468 or 0208-123-1016. Hello.
Hello, Beko Kumpacho, good evening.
Good evening, Mami.
Lawyer Patrick Bacho, good evening.
Hello,
Pacho,
good evening.
Pacho, the Mati. My question, you know, and fact, a new topic in the
No problem.
Me Pacho, my British in that, my Mao Ghana, me take a deal. Nam Pacho, almost any or my brother, Lion China, but then my sister. Wabakuma ba me nka na se ni bisa se papa no kuma sana me aka se papa wo kuma na se bi eno beboa amoma wo se bi ayi ye ntwan to se ye wo papa na na se ni no ni o ma bra bu bi a me tie
Papa no. One tenant kawaga. What is so abaha? Wabaha. Still, and so one tenant. And just still one tenant. Yes, sir. Okay.
Right. Okay. So yeah, application. I think someone take the other information here, but I'm guessing so also over assistant or and person okofa.
Anyway,
but over the assistant now.
2.5. Me a British name.
Why a British name?
Me.
Ukunu a British name. Okay. And I'll okofa and call number. Right. And so you say okofa umaba. As I say, just responsibility. In your case, Nikunu a British name. Pacho, Ukunu never found free Ghana buyer now. Okay. And you know, as I said, Ocheso was so responsibility for Sa and our conform by now. And only idea Ayana Ed, especially say, I will fall back on Etia Sewo Kwema. Ayana money a bit difficult because as I said, one I would be say, in Kolaya, I will conform Omu Bibia also. I will fall back on our cano. On play party be our life. To almost school, come didi, more sorry, come any bibiano edao. So now and this school reporter at the brown sun nina edao. So even though the day-to-day upbringing care of San Palano, nyawana because who knew. So because because of geographical location, indeed, obin a beyer sad, however, the Sani Pana or yes, wo and woman who means only Sir Jumano ever one name. Into one hour, and yet a colleague, ne papa bush fee and I was a men one I'm sure. Society, not as a uniso responsibility. Name of your cassette or to ebia me bush for a fee, na men are me shebra my edition. And now impo. Minibus ni bia ho nti madam fu bi kwa na masre a ohwe nkwalai nti se ye ma me ho kwan na nkwala no ebeka me ho. The question says omo papa na waba bi du an nti no eno susu betimi agina so ana yes betimi aka se papa na mu no onhwe no ena yeso abehye kroma mfi bebreni a ono amu no wa form the relationship a obo na bra nti anya de a oka nti wa na wo hwe wo ma from day one. Obedu guys so anya dia woni nti yes betimi am make sa ade no now I've seen case similar to this na yenua bema no maame na one ne wo akwala no omojai wa backroom ho abe form relationship nti omu nyina so hu say na ompeso omo ya akwala na ba ti yeje ne me ya say edi adanse say owa ha otini baby a obo na bra oni akwala no hu bibia ye and the count yes obo refuse ye but it was not based on the fact say only so responsibility no because omo person mo say onya onu na hwe akwala no but ye challenge ye at the court my court no editumu ampa say so responsibility ye whole statement from maame no wa ha no bia the dance say ampa say oni akwala no abrabo and ono papa na ye bia o tukwan ababucha ono obo ne bra until such time we no na omni contact, and we were successful in doing that. So yes, ubetimi aye, but it doesn't guarantee you that they will give nkwala no visa no. However, so move refuse you still have an opportunity to appeal against the decision, and you may get saying a resolution from the court rather than the Home Office. Bear in mind, so said because we were in a buy, and you per se ni because ujina ukunu so na buy. Into say utimi chess ukunya 18,006 plus nkwala na ode beka ho. First one 3,800, the other one 2,400. As I say okay boom. Now here say afini nyina ka mu say mo household income no a year e do sa na tie sa
Me
well, sir, sikana mabobo so no se obu ni nyina konta na ebeso se ne akana. Then yes, ubetimi de pay slip aye. But bear in mind say uba ha as a partner into ukunu no oka ho. And a consideration. So one kwan na wote uba bi dia consideration no a difference. You have maintenance. It is you say o ma wa ha ubetimi ahwe wo mo free Ghana eba no o mo beka ho a still ubetimi ahwe wo ma ho aso ho so sa na hwe but sense wo ware e na wo dia ware no ba ye nti no a different consideration you hwe wo ukunu no especially ukunu na obefa wo ba ye no say exactly, yes.
Me last person in the family. But you told the Worae ba every Ghana and I say, oh, yeah, Aklano, it's TB test.
Akolano ede.
Or you TB test, that kind of application,
Yes, it's a so ye TB test. It is a oba UK abetna permanently. It's a so ye TB test and sana odiaba. Whether so ye EU ni and say unye EU ni. It's a so ye and sana especially a corona future now and yeah they.
Okay.
Yeah, Patrick, my dad,
Yes,
Thank
you very much. There's a comment on the platform. Yemfa no nafi yemfa ema lawyer ya caught the line. So I know people waiting. The person on the line, just hold on. I applied for a British passport for my 2-year son in Ghana, and he has been given. I want his mom to bring him. The mom made an application to visit in 2016, and she was refused. She has not mentioned that in her new application. If they ask, and the grounds of refusal, please. She doesn't remember the grounds for her refusal. She can't find the refusal document in any. What can she do?
Right. So if you applied for a visitor's visa and you were refused, in your subsequent application, you need to disclose that. If you don't, you're deceiving the Home Office. And they find out, you're likely to be banned for 10 years because that's deception. And so bear that in mind. Now, if indeed you've been refused before, you have to be on the side of caution and mention that in your application. Yes, you may not remember the exact date, but you may remember the year that you were refused. And you may be able to state that, yes, you applied for a visitor's visa. They have the information there. But you need to come out clean and make them aware.
So if you don't remember the grounds, in this situation, I'm saying that he doesn't have the document to hand. So you just mentioned I was refused in this year.
Yes.
That will be enough.
Of course, that should suffice. Not mentioning it at all is dangerous. So you need to mention that. Yes, you were refused, just that you don't remember on what basis. They have the information there. They'll be able to check. So if you were refused back in 2009 and you don't remember the basis on which you were refused, the fact that you've mentioned that you've been refused before
is enough.
It's good. You know.
All right.
Yeah.
0208123101607399208468. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon.
So good afternoon.
Boko there.
na me adom bi am upon so
Nyame adom boko. Lawyer wa haiti.
lawyer but already a friend I na my question is say the over tier to do direction so na say over on the 5 year route to so ya ma 5 years on also switch it to any other route such as house or other back and BB we still not continue and as a continue so the infant will try 1 year and as it or tier 2 next one. Are you left with 5 3 years or indefinite? And I say you start cry.
Okay, so very, very crackling line.
Yeah, very
difficult to, grasp the whole canon. Let's see. So this is what I make out of what you've just said. So Yamao leave under tier 2, and then Opesa will switch it to a parent. Opesa will say, Yamao 5 years now, where do you 2 years now switch it, and that's where do you 3 years now switch it to a parent. DNA. Wait me this ABM fans 2.5 years now amount. Ako can win home. I'm an 5 years now when you're indefinite. Ultimately, yes, sir. Unfortunately, ultimately, yes, sir. As I said, because roots beyond the and you na ultimately ekeka bom now the year 5 years no there. It is a root way so be so 5 years and son away indefinite. As I say, this are root no so 5 years and son away indefinite. The only time obetimi akeka roots no abobo bom ede we indefinite a time oye the friend 10 years lawful residence. To say no the yeah leaves now when you yan kakra abobo bun tot kakra obetimi akeka ni nyina bom e bia wo ba ha as a student we no oto aso kakra de koye skilled worker ufri ho e na obeto aso kakra e be a parent ufri ho obeto aso kakra abeware ni nyina no e ya assistant awo so long as na break bia eni ubetimi akeka sa leaves ni nyina de abom na unya 10 ubetimi apply for indefinite ene de yenim se senior de tie no we parents grant we application say parent of a qualifying child your mouth first 2.5 years no cra utumi switch it at the 5 years parent route no so switch ya now we die no so sa for 5 years now when you indefinite it's and ne ya ka say very difficult say obi a ye fan so what in your position obetwen 10 I say you no man ebia ho kire kakra nti no on pese obi free 10 years no so na benefit kakra eba no watimi agin kakra so obet na so kakra kopum 10 years no but enye saa dia utumi switch it so switch ya 5 years no so na when you indefinite nti yeah
All right. Back on the line. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Woraku.
Good evening. I think it's better now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, more question there about could be now. Madam Bina Mibusa de Mano, one about Zambrano.
Okay.
One in a partner, no, the girlfriend, no, we shall know about, and on the about count, yeah, issue. National service bemo. The national service bemo, no, on budget quantity them. All right, that man should go banner or court. Nti yabajin kwan again and say fan kwan ko ma outside landing. Yade ko na o mo hwe ma me no untimi hwe kwan ko me no kasa wonya hwetis. Nti ere de kwan be go foster home. And a bear man fight here for about 2-3 years. I could jin kwan. Nti wo je na wan jin de nkwan wo ji ba ko no ka ho because ba ko pe wu. I'm also wouldn't quite net here. I'm so called the final court order Bibia. Some can find a sunny person of or qualify for the brand.
okay it's also court order the man no na ye obi a ohwe sa nkwala ya na
Mpasha, only permit a quay out maybe.
Okay. Now, sir, quarter there, they are washing more than 5 years.
The man of Potter, I feel no second year.
Okay. Now, Pacho, no assistant Beno.
Or 2.5. 2.5, no, what the band, the man was if it was 2.5 or the first, the man or a new back. I feel Uncle carry one in July.
Okay. And see, any abeme, that's some no appear a kiss.
Okay.
Plus the fact that, yes, Wabuno, you didn't call on Sakura in the 2.5 years or so. So, yes, application, I'll be refuse you. Because I'm back over 2.5 years, and no be na year 3 months since year. It's yes application for Zambrano no. First of all, no, only indefinite. So it'll be a waste of your time. Now one could hear you so
Yes,
na oka na ekose we na tada no. Because only indefinite, you know. Because only plan for 5 years anyway. It is a 2.5 years and so on. I think say the ebeboa no say ube renew na when you indefinite on that basis rather than say oko fighter. But one here in so bonnet ebebro.
Okay. Well, I want to pass you in this case, you pass you on to bet my a few way back application.
Yes, obetimi a fee waiver application. Ono necessary or stress or you're destitute and answer potentially no obetimi a destitute. So to meet stress yes, fee waiver request in the be the move be or circumstance and a better. Yes, obetimi a fee waiver application.
Okay, now that's in terms of I'm in the office.
Patrol, yeah, that's
That's the mission. Well, could be that's the mission.
Yeah, I mean, shall say, and say that's a P for your time. Lawyer, there's this question, very straightforward one. I want to come to the UK. What is the process?
Well, I mean, if you want to come to the UK, our doors are open. You know, yes. As I'm a for crap, I'm going to at all. Wait me, Abba. Name a coin of person of Fasoba, no, be an coin of person of Fasoba. You need coin back what a Fasoba UK. A coin of doors. Wouldn't necessarily the opposite of Faso. Based on one casa, usually, obi owa no person or bands ahwe what UK when we say kofu twitwi twas no photos ni ade nti e don no kon se nka me susu nya ya me ba be hwe the crowd say ni city London na maka mo London Bridge no crowd te sen Buckingham Palace amode adwan aso no crowd ehe na wo mo se elephant and castle ya tia mo nya elephant wo ho ana sen ni city airport nti obi wo na ni susu no oba keke na wabɛyɛ nsrahwɛ na wasan akɔ anaasɛ king ɛba bɛyɛ coronation yi wopɛ sɛ woba bi ne nyinaa yɛ adeɛ a ɛbɛtumi ama wagyina so aba UK nti that's fine obi so wɔ hɔ a na ɔsɛ o meyere wɔ ha anaa me kunu wɔ ha nti mepɛ sɛ mebɛka no ho ɛno nso so yɛ kwanya a wobɛtumi de aba anaasɛ sɛ ɛne deɛ a bɛyɛ sɛ skilled worker adwuma bi afa w'adwuma nti wopɛ sɛ wobɛtena ha na wo so wobɛboa yɛ economy no minyaya nka mo ntena fi na mo moa nana na nana hia sɛ yɛ nyinaa yɛbɛboa no but sɛ nyɛ saa na tie de a na wopɛ sɛ wo so wobɛyɛ adwuma wɔ ha ɛno so akwanya no wɔ hɔ obi so wɔ na school ɛna de ne ba ɛyɛ ne degree ne bibia wɔ Ghana ɛne ɔpɛ sɛ ɔbɛyɛ masters wɔ ha na ɔpɛ sɛ ɔbɛyɛ PhD na ɔde ɛno so ka ɛyɛ ne qualifications na ɔwɔ no ho nti ɛno so akwanya wɔ hɔ sa ɛyɛ bebree yɛka sɛ yɛbobɔ so a adeɛ bɛkye yɛn and then you cried in since 1st of February, no, the teachers about the count. So wait me at and yet tree near wait me at French, and a Casahodo be a car, Nina no Quenya or and yet tree the Gaba, the Ghana, and yet on the Eka. I had a more common language now, a French name, Spanish, and Latin, yes. A Quenya or Ubetimiaba, but a quano also in your back. Yes, one is so said here.
Lawyer, there's this person that had admission into a university. The person came in together with his wife. Now, when he got in here, unfortunately, he's fallen, so he hasn't had a chance to register and start the course. can the wife at the back of that register and start some work so kind of to support the husband one way or the other? Or because he hasn't registered and enrolled on the course and started studying, the wife can't do anything even though they've come together?
No. Yes, the wife can do whatever they like. So once you're granted visa and you're lucky to get through port and immigration, that's it, you're in. So the next stage is if you haven't already applied for your national insurance number, then that's the first thing you're looking to do. So once you get your NI number, the road is your front, as they say. You can go and do whatever work that you choose to do. Bear in mind, it's your husband who is the student and restricted to doing 20 hours, per the requirements. But you, as the dependent partner, you can go and explore and do whatever you choose to do. Now, the only problem is that if you don't enroll and you don't go to the school or you don't make the authorities aware of your circumstance, then they may take step to inform the Home Office of your absence, and that would trigger your leave being curtailed and being given, sometimes 90 days to pack up and go. So it is very important that, this our brother would inform the school of his current situation so that they are aware of what, he's going through. But then for the wife, she's, able to do whatever they would choose to do, and that shouldn't be a problem at all, so long as the leave not be revoked.
Okay. Abdullah Moro on the platform says, "Good evening, lawyer. Can I know how much a student visa for 2 years and NHS for 2 years cost?"
Oh, yeah, that's a very good question. Not on top of my head, I'm not able to tell you, but yes, I can take that home and check and then give you the right answer, because I don't want to, pluck up any figures from top of my head. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Sorry for that. Yes.
That's safe and sound. I'm still taking your call 02081231016 07399208468. If you have a voice note, a text message or anything, 07950422780. Wumpini Adam says, "What are the requirements to bring a child from Ghana at the age of 6 as an adopted child?"
Well, the simple answer is once you've gone through your adoption, it depends on your status in the UK. If you're a British citizen, then you're able to apply for a passport for the child to come. If you're not a British citizen and you have indefinite leave to remain, again, you're able to apply under 297 for the child to come. So, once you've mentioned that, you've adopted this child, then I suppose you've gone through all of the processes that you need to go through, and it's just making the application. So you need to be able to demonstrate your situation here, your status here in the UK, and why you're bringing this child. Because the process of you adopting this child includes assessment of your circumstance in the UK. So once you've crossed that line, the rest is you making the application for the child to come and join you.
Okay. Another one on the platform. It says that you said anonymous, whatever it is. No worry. My best friend's wife is a French teacher in Ghana. She wants to come to the UK through the teacher's route. Can you kindly explain the procedure, the requirements, and fees for us? Are you able to do that?
Well, again, the teacher's route is just been introduced. Yes, we know Ghana has been included in the overseas teachers that can now come into the UK as skilled. So first of all, what you need to do is to look for work as a French teacher with a school which has a sponsorship license and are willing to grant you sponsorship to come to the UK and work with them. So that's your first port of call. Now, once you've done that, you may also want to register as QTS, qualifying teacher status, online. So if you go on there, because of the country where you are, i.e. Ghana, which has been included in the list, you'd be able to access that information from there and register as such. Once you've done that and the certificate of sponsorship has been granted to you, then you'll be able to make your application on that basis. Now, in terms of the fee, I would have to check that and feed back to you next when we're on the program, or maybe if you call after the program, be able to give you figures on that one. Yeah.
So that does it mean that the it's not a blanket something for every school to be able to recruit from overseas? The school would have to have a license.
Absolutely. So just like the health and care visa route, you would need authorization from the Home Office to allow you to bring in people from outside. So if you don't have that license, you're not able to recruit teachers to come into the UK and teach. It's as simple as that. So you, the person who is searching, you have to, you know, make a specific set of schools which are licensed to bring people outside the UK to teach, and the sort of area you're looking to teach, you know, may be relevant as well. As I said, there are people who are teaching languages, and we know here at the moment that's one big thing that they really want to see, that, you know, not just speaking English, but people can speak other languages, including French, Latin, and the rest of them. So that's what we want to see. Becoming a teacher. Again, if you're a maths teacher, you're sought after as well, and the people that teach the difficult subjects like science and that, you know, really well sought after as well. So yes, if you've qualified outside the UK, you've taught for a number of years. Yes, the position is now clear for you to be able to come here and then pursue your trade here. It's not just people coming from outside. Even if you're here, you leave to remain and you want to switch. I had a question come through the other time, somebody who is here on the health and care visa route, but then been trained and taught for about 17 years back in Ghana, and I want to switch. So yes, because you already have leave in the UK, you're able to do hassle-free without going back to Ghana and apply from there.
But obviously, the school that has a vacancy would have to
be a licensed
school
yes.
to pick you on.
Yeah.
07399208468. Have book here says best law firm. Yes, undoubtedly, BWF Solicitors is your best bet, and I know Nanaya is agreeing to that. Nana Samuel says, I'm on a student visa and I will complete my program in September this year. I came with my wife as a dependent. Please, aside the graduate visa, may I know other ways by which we can switch our visas after I complete school?
Right. So I think we've mentioned some of them already, but just to reiterate, you can shift onto the skilled worker route. So once you shift onto the skilled worker route, your student visa will change to that. And it's not just you. I know it's not everybody that, you know, have interest in doing care work. So yes, if a graduate brother want to do something else, because bear in mind, the health and skilled worker route, what it does is that it restricts you to working for the sponsor, and you can only do up to 20 hours with somebody else in the same industry. So if you're somebody who doesn't want to be restricted in that way, then maybe you may be able to ask your dependent wife to apply under the skilled worker route, go do her care job, so that you can use your qualification to do whatever job you want to do. And I think probably this is the best way to do it. But it's individual choices. I'm not going to be sitting here and saying, I know your circumstance and this will work better for you. So it's not one size fits all. But yes, you have to make that choice. But yes, you can switch the skilled worker route and you know, get a qualification. Either you want to be a doctor, you want to be a teacher, all of those routes would be available to yourself. Now, I was going to say you can switch to the partner route as well. But as you can appreciate, that comes with its own trouble. The trouble is that if you're going to switch to the partner route, you told me now that you're married with somebody. It means you're going to have to divorce this person and shift on to that, which is probably not the best for you.
Well, we think that time and tide is a wait for no man, and we close to the point where we have to do quick segment So we'll take another quick break, and when we come back, it's time for us to test your knowledge as to what information we gave you earlier in the week, and let's see how smart, how sharp, and how retentive you have been in your memory. The Community and the Law, brought to you by BWF Solicitors.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws, there are the regulations. We have BWF Solicitors. BWF Solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Okay, welcome back. Thank you to the very last segment. But one quick question for Laura before we go to our quiz. And this one says that, good afternoon, Patrick, please. A friend came here on a student visa. She didn't go to school and went back to Ghana and applied for a skilled worker visa as a nurse. I believe she was put on 10-year rules as skilled worker because she didn't meet all the financial criteria. She spent a year on that company, then switched to a different care home who issued new certificate of sponsorship. I will want to ask, will she be on 5 years now and 10 years? Again, her current sponsorship visa will be due for renewal in 2025. Does that mean she'll be due for indefinite leave to remain, or but apply another 2 years, making 5 years before applying for leave to remain? Both jobs are in the health industry. Thank you. Laura.
Right. Okay. So I'm a bit baffled with the statement that this person got given 10 years. That I'm not so sure of, because with a course, it is the company that is employing that normally will, you know, decide on how many years they're going to work with you. And normally we know it's something between 3 and 5 years, and then you get your indefinite. So that's that. But as to whether or not she's going to get indefinite leave to remain after the period that she spent on the first and the second one is a question. Now, we've already said on this platform just a little while ago that if you want to obtain indefinite leave to remain, there are certain routes and their requirements. If the requirement is that you be on this route for 5 years before you obtain indefinite leave to remain, then that's what you are required to do. If you want to combine your leaves to get indefinite leave to remain, then you are able to apply under paragraph 27B for your indefinite leave to remain as lawful, 10 years lawful residents. If that's what you're doing, then that's fine. In this instant case, that's not what this person is choosing to do. They are switching from one sponsor to the other. If they switched and they get given 5 years certificate of sponsorship, once they've been on there for 5 years, after that 5 years, they'll be able to obtain indefinite leave to remain. All they need to show is that they still, perhaps with this sponsor working for them. And that would basically get them to achieve the indefinite leave to remain.
Right. Kwadwo Tufo is watching us from London. Thanks for your compliment. Jima, you're watching us from Harlow. Thank you very much for you watching, and God bless you. Yes, the rest of you, you can let us know where you're watching from, and we will definitely acknowledge that. Now, it's time for us to test our knowledge. And ladies and gentlemen, let's get to our quiz and see what it is. Well, Abbas arrives in the UK as spouse of a British citizen in 2019. He was given a visa valid until 2022. In 2021, Abbas traveled to Ghana, and on his way back to the UK, his spousal visa was revoked at the airport by the UK border agency. There was no right of appeal against that decision. Abbas instructed a law firm 3 months later to represent him in an application for another leave to remain based on his family life with his child, who is a British citizen. Abbas received a bill of costs which included a VAT. Is Abbas likely to is Abbas liable for VAT in this instance? Now, let's look at the scenario again. He arrives in the UK as a spouse of a British citizen in 2019. He was given a visa valid until 2022. Now, 2 years down the line, when he was given the visa, he traveled to Ghana, and his way back to the UK, his spousal visa was revoked at the airport by the UK border agency. There was no right of appeal against that decision. 3 months later, he instructed the law firm to represent him in an application for another leave to remain based on his family life with a child who is a British citizen. He received his bill of cost, which included VAT. Is Abbas liable for VAT in this instance? 3 scenarios. Yes, Abbas is liable for VAT because although his leave was revoked, he will be treated as a resident of the UK until the case is resolved. Second scenario, no. As Abbas does not have leave to remain, he is an illegal migrant, and his place of usual residence will be Ghana. Or sit on the fence and say none of the above. So let's see what it is. I know definitely you'll be waiting for me to pass it on to the lawyer to address that, but try it. Let's see how many of you can get me an answer. 1, 2, or 3. None of the above. 2, no, Abbas does not have leave to remain. He's an illegal migrant, and his place of usual residence is Ghana. And 3, Abbas will be liable for VAT. Although his leave was revoked, he will be treated as a resident of the UK until the case is resolved. It's okay. Now, let's see what you have on the platform, or you can text it to our number 07950422780. We have Kwadwo Tufo says number 2. Number 2 says no, Abbas does not have leave to remain. He's an illegal migrant. His usual place of residence will be Ghana. Right. Okay. Next one. Ademununkum says number 2. Same as the first one that was given. Let's see who else comes in. 3 scenarios. Temwani T is number 2. Temwani T, you think that as Abbas does not have leave to remain, he's an illegal migrant. Nana says number 2. 2 seems to be very popular. Kwadwo Tufo says number 1. Yes, Abbas is liable for VAT because although he has leave although his leave was revoked, he will be treated as a resident of the UK. Tele Duma says number 2. No, Abbas does not have leave to remain. He's an illegal migrant, and his usual place of residence will be Ghana. Nana Hema Sapong says number 2. Okay. Nana Boatima says number 2. Okay, 2 seems to be very popular. I guess lawyer will have the verdict. Anyway, let's go over to lawyer and see what he has for us. Another person is saying number 2. Okay, whatever. Lawyer.
Okay. Right. So, I'm a bit concerned about the results that we've gotten, and I don't know whether in my submissions I got people confused. If that is what it is, then my sincere apology for that. But if you see the question that is being posed, the answer to the question is right there in there. Indeed, Abbas lives here in the UK with us. Even though he's a Ghanaian, he lives in the UK. And we know from how the question is being framed and the information in there that Abbas has made the UK the center of his life. So we know there's connection, i.e., he has a wife, even though that one is on the rocks at the moment. But we know he has a child who is a British citizen, and so he has a family life with this child. We also know that he probably has a job here and he has a home here. So, in taxation purposes, this will qualify Abbas to pay taxes here because this is where he lives. This is where he's domiciled. He's made the UK the center of his life. And so, when he got to the port and got detained and the and the leave revoked, Abbas is putting what we call the Section 120 grounds. It may state that indeed he has a family here. He has a child who's a British citizen here. And so he has a family life with this child. Before he left, that family life existed. And he had only left temporarily and coming back to that same family life. And therefore, he would have a claim to, get back into the UK. So once he made that claim, then yes, he'd be required to pay VAT on the services that is provided to him, because this is where he lives permanently. The fact that he's been outside, for probably maximum 1 month to go on a holiday and come back, does not all of a sudden change his residential status to living in Ghana. We know from the facts this is where he lives with his family.
Okay.
So the answer to that question would be number 1.
Okay. Yes, Abbas is liable for VAT because his leave was revoked. He will be treated as a resident. Although his leave was revoked, he will be treated as a resident. Now, if we go back, I think lawyer thought probably he confused people. But if you go back to the nugget, there was something that was indicative of that. And it says that HM Revenue and Customs interprets the phrase as the country where the individual spends most of their life. For the periods in question, it's likely to be the country where the individual has set up their home, lives with their family, and is in full-time employment. For purposes of VAT, persons who have not been granted the right of permission to remain in the UK should be treated as belonging to their country of origin. This will apply to, for example, asylum seekers and those entering without permission and therefore may not pay VAT on such things. But this person had lived here before. He went on holiday. And you realize that if you have followed this program, maybe I'm becoming a lawyer myself. If you have followed this program, we have always been told that if somebody is domiciled in the UK, he must have lived here continuously for at least 12 months. And this person was granted leave. And when I was reading the question, I emphasized 2019 and 2021, 2 years down the line. He's lived here for more than a year. So obviously, he must pay VAT. You can't run away. Anyway, that's by the by. Thank you very much. And on that note, somebody says I should give you credit. Okay, Kwajo Tifo, I should give you credit. Okay, thank you. Credit to you, Kwajo. You did very well. Tradition is tradition. I would give lawyer the chance to kind of round up for us briefly, and I will also say my advice.
Right. So it's been an absolute pleasure, more than a duty, coming your way once again. It's absolutely wonderful coming back. And we very much appreciate the support that you give us day in, day out on all the platforms that we're on. Yes, we're going into another week, and it's none different than the week that is just literally gone. So stick and stay with us on all of the platforms. There are more, things coming away, and so you know where to catch us on Thursday next week, Friday next week, and once again next week, Saturday, on Community and the Law with your faithful servant, Owuraku Owusu Frimpong, who is my boss. So, yes, thank you very much for making time with us. Until we meet again, God bless, nothing less.
Well, I've been given the chance to be a so I'll take that with all pleasure. Thank you very much. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with you and also coming your way, bringing you the community. And for today, we looked at whether we will be able to submit an application when the Home Office has retained our passport. Yes, the answer is absolutely yes, you can. The conditions, and the lawyer has graciously explained all that. And to everybody that's been part of the program, thank you so very much. You've been wonderful. And I believe same time next week, I will have the same opportunity of meeting you again. And obviously, a lot more will be joining us. To my studio producer and director, Professor Ade, thank you so very much. And to Sheila and Padmo Dudu, the statistics and administration, thank you so very much. Senior partner, BWF Solicitors, Uncle Ben, Lawyer Patrick, who was my guest and resource person today. Thank you very much, Lawyer Charles Asma, Lawyer Richard, Lawyer Eunice, lawyers Deborah, and all the other people, Cynthia, Chancellor, and Sandra at the front. You've been very wonderful all throughout. And to our employee of the month 2022, January, Jemima, to you, congratulations once again. And to everybody, have a good week. God bless you until we meet again. Goodbye.
Yeah. Jesus, you're my everything, yeah. My everything is you, Lord. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Everybody say, ah. Say, oh, oh. Say, how can I express my gratitude for all the many things